There's somebody else on that boat.
When do you think that was taken?
Well, it's difficult to say. Judging by the weather and the foliage, it's about 2 months ago.
That'll be my bet, too. Do you know, this proves one thing. Mrs. Tolley may have been telling the truth about that coffee bar meeting. Fielding and Brent have met before Carol introduced them.
Well, why do they keep quiet about it?
Hey, what about this? Shall we try this one?
Yeah, go ahead. Hello?
Richmond 0141.
Yes?
This is telegrams. I have a telegram from Mr. Kevin Jason, 83 Kingsdown Mansions, Richmond.
Well, wait a minute. I'll take it down. Yeah?
Brent arrives Positano, 8 o'clock tonight.
Brent arrives Positano, 8 o'clock tonight. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
And the name of the sender?
I'm sorry, there isn't a signature. Do you wish me to confirm this telegram?
Yes. Yes, would you do that, please?
Thank you.
Could that be Harry Brent?
Well, what's your guess, Roy?
Carol, can you spare a minute?
Yes, of course. Is anything the matter?
I think you said you were seeing Harry tonight.
Yes, I am. I told you. We're having dinner together in town.
Well, ask him to phone me, would you? Any time tonight. I shall be in all evening.
Can't I deliver a message?
I think perhaps I'd better have a word with him myself. I tried to get him on the phone this morning, but...
Eric, what is it? You're being very mysterious.
A young chap named Robson came to see me this morning. Sergeant Robson. I think he's one of Alan's men. Anyways, with the CID.
Well?
He questioned me about the jacket, the one I lent Harry.
Why on earth are they interested in that jacket? I should have
There's
thought...
a very good reason for being interested in it. It was found at Richmond, in Mrs. Tolley's flat.
Your jacket?
Yes. But when Alan spoke to me about the jacket, I told him the truth. I said I lent it to Harry and he hadn't returned it. Unfortunately, Harry didn't confirm my story.
What do you mean?
He told Alan that he had returned the jacket to me.
Why on earth did he say that?
I don't know why.
Well, surely he must know whether... Leave it to me, Eric. I'll have a word with Harry about it tonight.
Yes, all right, Carol.
I shouldn't worry about
Well,
it,
I
Eric.
am worried. You know me. I like to get things cut and dried. Besides,
Go on.
I was going to say I knew Mrs. Tolley. I'd spoken to her. We weren't friends, of course, but... Well, I don't suppose Harry had even heard of the woman before she was murdered.
I'm sure there's a very simple explanation to all this.
What train are you coming back on?
Oh, the last one, the 11:30, I imagine, but don't bother to meet me. I can pick up a cab.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be in the car park.
There's no need, Eric.
Look, I told you, I don't know this fella, Jason. I've never seen him before.
Well, he was on his way to your stall, Mr. Tolley, when he spotted me and made a run for it.
Well, how do you know that? He might have been going to meet somebody. He might have been going to one of the other stalls, for all you know.
We think he was going to your stall.
Well, he wasn't. Look, I don't know this bloke. I never seen him before. I never even heard of him.
All right, let's leave that for a minute. Let's talk about Mrs. Green.
Now, what about Mrs. Green?
Well, you gave her £50.
Yeah, that's right. She lent me 50 quid some time back. I repaid her.
That's not what Mrs. Green says. She says you asked her to get a pen for you, Tom Fielding's pen. She says that's why you paid her £50.
Are you kidding? Oh, 50 quid for a pen? You think I'm nuts?
No, I don't think you're nuts, Mr. Tolley, and I don't think you're telling the truth either. Kevin Jason asked you to get that pen for him, and it's my guess he offered you a damn sight more than 50 quid for it.
Look, I don't know this man. I've never seen him before. Look, if you're not going to believe a word I say, I mean, what is the point of keep on asking me questions?
Look, Mr. Tolley, you're a businessman. You've got a great many friends, a great many contacts.
Well?
And you expect me to believe that when you needed money, you went to Mrs. Green?
I tried other people. First, of course, I tried a hell of a lot of people, but they just wouldn't play.
No, and I'm not playing either. Go away, Tolly. Think it over. When you feel like telling the truth, you just give me a ring.
I've told you the truth.
Mr. Tolly's leaving.
Yes, sir. Sergeant Croft would like a word with you.
Well, who the hell's Sergeant Croft?
I've asked him to take your fingerprints. That is, if you don't object.
Well, supposing I do object.
Then we don't take them.
Well, why do you want my fingerprints anyway?
It's just routine.
Gee, I don't believe that. You must have a reason.
Yes, we have got a reason. We found a number of fingerprints in your wife's flat at Richmond. We want to compare them with yours.
But I've never been to that flat. I knew nothing about it.
Then you've nothing to worry about, have you?
This way, sir.
Would you get me Miss Carol Viner at Thomas Fielding's?
I'm leaving now. If you give me about 20 minutes, I'll be ready.
Right, thank you, Roy.
Carol Viner speaking.
Hello, Carol, this is Alan.
Oh, hello, Alan.
Carol, I've got to see you. I'll pick you up in about 15 minutes.
I'm sorry, Alan. I'm terribly busy and I've got to go up to town this evening. If you could leave it over until tomorrow.
Would you meet me outside the office? I'm leaving straight away.
Look, I'm sorry. It's impossible. I'm up to my neck in work.
Carol, this is important.
It may be important to you, Alan.
Yes, it's important to you, too. It's about Harry. 15 minutes.
About, Alan. We're terribly busy this afternoon.
Jump in, Carol. I'll have you back by 4:30, I promise you.
Where are we going?
Now, for God's
leave
sake,
the
don't
office.
argue. Just get in the car.
I refuse to get in the car until you tell me where we're going.
Now, look, I'm not going to abduct you. You'll be perfectly safe. Now, get in the car.
This is supposed to be the spare bedroom. I'm afraid it's very untidy. Do sit down, Miss Viner.
Now, Carol, we're going to show you a couple of short films, and I want to explain about them first. Now, this morning we arrested a man called Jason. Kevin Jason. He's an Irishman. He broke into my flat a couple of days ago, and we're holding him on a housebreaking charge. Now, Jason's got a flat in Kingsdown Mansions, Richmond.
Kingsdown Mansions? Isn't that where Mrs. Tolley was found?
Yes, it is. Anyway, we searched his flat, and we found a projector and a couple of films. Well, now, luckily, Roy here's an expert on these things.
Not an expert, sir, an amateur.
Yeah, well, anyway, we had a look at the films. Now, one of them proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that Harry Brent was a friend, a very good friend, I'd say, of Tom Fielding's. But it's the other one that we're really interested in, and we're going to show it to you now. Okay, Roy?
Nearly ready, sir.
Look, just a minute. Did this man, Jason, did he take these films?
Well, we think so, yes, but we can't be sure about that. But it's obvious that the films were taken without the people concerned, that's the people in the films, realizing it was happening.
It's my guess they were taken from a window across the street. Right.
That's Jacqueline Dawson and Mr. Fielding.
Yes, that's right. Now, these next shots, they were obviously taken on a different day. Try and remember when it was. Now, do you remember when that was?
Oh, yes, it was about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago last Saturday, I think. Why should anyone photograph me?
Who was the man? The man you were talking to?
Well, his name's Rayner, Mark Rayner. He's a friend of Harry's.
And Jacqueline Dawson.
Jacqueline Dawson.
They were together in the market. We saw them this morning, just before we picked up Jason.
Is that true, Alan?
Yes, it is. Now, tell us all you know about Mr. Rayner.
Well, he's a friend of Harry's. Quite an old friend, I should imagine. We all had dinner together about 4 or 5 weeks ago. That was the first time I met him.
What does he do?
Well, I think he's with Thomas Cook's or American Express or something like that. He's a very pleasant man. He seems to be more interested in cars than anything else. Well, that's about all I can tell you about him.
Is he married?
No, I don't... No, I'm sure he's not.
Does he live in London?
I really don't know.
Yes, all right, Carol. Now tell me this. Did Tom Fielding ever own a boat, a cabin cruiser?
Yes, he did. He used to keep it down at Marlow and go down at weekends, but he sold it.
When?
Oh, some time ago. Must be getting on for a year now.
Carol, what would you say if I told you that he once invited Harry down to Marlow?
But he couldn't have done. He didn't know Harry until I introduced...
Ready?
Go ahead, Roy. There you are. I told you I'd get you back by 4:30. It's 5:20 past.
Thank you.
You look worried, Carol.
Yes, it's surprising. You've finally succeeded, Alan.
Succeeded?
You've convinced me that the man I'm going to marry is a liar. You've proved to me
Now, wait
that...
a minute, Carol. I'm not interested in Harry Brent because he's your fiancé. I'm interested in him because, in some curious way, he's mixed up in the Fielding murder.
You think he knew that Thomas Fielding was going to be murdered?
I think he knew it was on the cards, yes. Carol, I want to ask you something. Now, look, be honest with me, please. The other night, I told you about Barbara Smith, what she said just before she died.
Well?
Well, did you repeat it to anyone, to Harry? I mean?
No, I didn't, but... He knew we'd been discussing him. He sensed it in the car on the way to the station. Next morning, he turned up at the office. He said he was worried. He knew we'd been talking about him the night before.
Go on.
Well, it was a difficult situation, Alan. I had to tell him something. I told him that you didn't believe his story about the girl. I told him that you felt sure he'd met her before somewhere. But I didn't tell him what she said, that she actually mentioned his name. I didn't truly, Alan.
Carol, what do you really know about Harry Brent? You meet him by accident, he tells you he comes from Market Weldon, invites you out to dinner, and presto, you're engaged.
I fell in love with him. When you're in love with someone, you trust them.
Yeah, do you still trust him?
I don't know.
Now, Carol, wait a minute. When are you seeing him again?
Tonight, we're having dinner together.
In town?
Yes.
I thought he was abroad, Italy or something.
No. Why do you think that?
I don't know, something you said, I suppose. Carol, if you get worried about anything, doesn't matter how trivial, you know where I am, right?
Thank you. Sorry. The train was 15 minutes late, and when I got to the station, I simply couldn't get a taxi.
Don't worry, Carol, I was late anyway.
I should have come up by car. Eric wanted me to.
How is Eric?
Oh, he's fine. He sends his love. Well, actually, I say he's fine. He's not really. He's a bit worried at the moment.
Oh, what's he worried about? Martini? 2 dry martinis.
Yes, sir.
The police have been to see him. Twice, as a matter of fact. They keep on asking questions about that jacket.
Which jacket?
The sports jacket, the one you borrowed. You remember you got wet one afternoon and borrowed a jacket.
Oh, yes, of course I remember. You know, that's very odd. Your ex-boyfriend, Alan Milton, questioned me about that jacket.
I do wish you wouldn't keep calling Alan my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. You seem very touchy tonight, Carol. Are you sure it's Eric who's worried and not you?
Well, naturally, if Eric's worried, I'm worried.
Yes, but what exactly is he worried about? He lent me the jacket and I returned it.
But that's just the point. Eric says you didn't return it.
He said I didn't return it?
Yes.
Well, I thought I did. I felt sure I did. Well, maybe I didn't. Perhaps I've still got the coat. Tell Eric I'll take another look.
Harry, I don't think you understand. The police have got the jacket. It was found in a flat at Richmond, the flat where Mrs. Tolley was murdered. Naturally, the police want to know how it got there.
Well, I didn't take it there. I didn't even know Mrs. Tolley.
No, but Eric did.
You're not trying to say the police suspect Eric?
I don't know whether they suspect him or not, but they want to know how his jacket got into Mrs. Tolley's flat, and frankly, I don't blame them.
Neither do I, but they're obviously barking up the wrong tree. I didn't take it there, and I shouldn't have imagined Eric would.
Oh, of course he didn't. Harry, are you sure, quite sure that you returned it?
No, I've told you, I'm not 100% sure. I thought I did. Now, stop worrying, Carol. I'll have a chat with Alan and tell him that I'm not exactly sure that I did return the jacket after all. Now, how's that?
Well, then they'll start questioning you.
Well, that's okay by me, so long as you stop worrying.
2 dry martinis, sir.
Oh, thank you.
I thought you were never coming.
Have they arrived?
Brent arrived about 9:10. The girl was very late.
I was expecting Jason to be here. Why you, Briar?
Oh, Jason couldn't make it.
Why not?
Well, the police have picked him up. They're still holding him.
When did this happen?
This morning, Market Weldon.
The bloody fool.
Well, we all make mistakes, Filey.
Not in this game, Briar. Just one, that's all. Just one.
Will it be very difficult?
Shouldn't think so. I take it it's just Brent he wants.
No, Brent and the girl.
And the girl, are you sure?
And of course I'm sure.
That's what he said. Brent and the girl.
That's what he said. You can take Brent first, Filey, in case there's a switch.
You sure you wouldn't like a liqueur?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
A brandy?
No, thank you, Harry.
What time's your train?
11:30.
Oh, you've got plenty of time. It'll only take 10 minutes to the station.
Oh, where's your car? I didn't see it.
It's around the corner.
Oh.
In Blandford Street.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you, Harry.
For what?
For dinner.
For one horrible moment, I thought you was going to say for a very pleasant evening. That's the usual phrase, surely. Then it hasn't been a very pleasant evening, has it, Carol?
Why did you lie to me, Harry? Why on earth didn't you tell me that Mr. Fielding was a friend of yours?
He wasn't a friend of mine. I'd only met him twice. The first time...
Don't lie, Harry. Please don't lie. I know he was a friend of yours. I just don't understand why you didn't tell me about it. That night at the Falstaff, I introduced you to each other. You both behaved as if you were strangers, as if you'd never met before. Why? Why, Harry?
Who told you I was a friend of Tom's? Mrs. Tolley.
Mrs. Tolley?
Yes, she saw us one night in a coffee bar. It was 100 to 1 chance, but unfortunately... Was it Mrs. Tolley?
No.
Well, who told you then?
I saw some film.
Some film of me and Tom Fielding?
Yes, someone took some shots of you and... Harry, why didn't you and Mr. Fielding tell me that you knew each other?
Wait a minute, Carol. Tell me about this film. Where did you see it?
A friend of mine showed it to me.
When?
This afternoon.
Was it Alan? Now, Carol, this is important. Tell me about this film. What did you see?
You were on a boat, Mr. Fielding's boat, somewhere on the river. You were talking to each other. You were obviously very good friends.
Go on.
Well, there were other shots, too, taken outside of your office. Mr. Fielding getting out of a cab with Jacqueline Dawson. Me talking to Mark Rayner.
Where did Alan get these films from? Who gave them to him?
I don't know.
But you must know, Carol.
I don't know where he got them from.
Bring me my bill straight away, please. Get your coat, Carol. We're leaving. Now, come on.
They can't be long now, surely to God.
That's what you said 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and if my memory doesn't fail me, 30 minutes ago, Mr. Breyer.
Yes, well, I thought they would have been out by now. Otherwise...
Filey! Quick, they're coming now. Quick!
What the hell?
It's all right. They'll be gone in a minute. He's only asking the way somewhere.
What's happened? What the hell's happened?
They were tipped off.
But that's the main entrance, sir.
But we don't want to use the main entrance. Now, be a good chap. Take us out the back way.
Follow me.
Come on, Carol.
Harry, wait a minute. What happened just now? What did Mark say, and why was he driving that van?
Someone was waiting for me outside with a rifle. Now, look, Carol, I can't explain now. Come along.
Here's the car, Harry. I'll see you later.
Right, and thanks, Mark.
And don't use this place again. You've got a problem, Harry.
Yes, I know, but I can handle it.
I hope so.
Now, don't worry, Mark.
I hope you can handle it, Harry, because if you can't...
It's my problem. Now, don't worry. Who was it tonight, Filey?
Yes, we were tipped off, thank God. I'll phone you later, Harry.
Come on, Carol.
Did someone really try to kill you just now?
Yes.
Who?
Someone called Filey was in the building opposite. He had a rifle.
But why? Why should anyone want to kill you? You've got to tell me, Harry.
Filey thinks I know something.
About what?
About someone in Market Weldon.
Someone in Market Weldon.
Now, look, Carol, we can't talk about this now. If you come back to my place, we can.
No, Harry.
Now, Carol, please, come back to the flat. If you do, I'll tell you about tonight. I'll tell you about Tom Fielding and Barbara Smith. I'll tell you everything, Carol.
All right.
You're feeling better? I'll drink this. Then we can talk.